Scientists all over the world are convinced that the human race is of African origin, and on this beautiful continent lie a lot of mysteries, many of which have left the brightest minds amongst us puzzled and in search of answers. From the dead trees in Deadvlei to the 200-legged alien creature, we take a look at 20 of the most shocking and almost impossible to explain discoveries in Africa. We begin our journey today with what might just be the origin of modern-day arithmetics. 20. The Ishango bone. Found in the Ishango region of the Congo near Lake Edward, the Ishango bone is proof that Africans were the pioneers of basic arithmetic 25,000 years ago. The bone is a tool handle with notches carved into it. Engraved on the tool are 3 rows of notches representing simple arithmetic processes like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and even prime numbers. The bone tool was first thought to have been over 8,000 years old, but more recent studies have shown that it is at least 25,000 years old. In case you thought dinosaurs were a myth, you might have to think again, as the next item on our list is 19. The world's oldest known dinosaur. The bones of Nyasasaurus, the world's oldest known dinosaur, were discovered in Tanzania in the 1930s. Studies of the fossils have revealed that Nyasasaurus was about at least 243 million years old, 10 to 15 million years older than the previous oldest known dinosaur. An upper arm bone and some backbones were found, but the skull is yet to be discovered. Due to the small collection of fossils found, not much is known about Nyasasaurus. But, judging by the bones, scientists estimate that it was 6.5 to 10 feet long, including its tail. Scientists also believe that Nyasasaurus may have been bipedal. 18. The Lost City of Atlantis, Eye of the Sahara. Believed to be the remains of the mythical lost city of Atlantis, from above, the Eye of the Sahara, also known as the Richat structure, looks just like a giant eye sitting in the middle of the Sahara Desert of Mauritania, in Africa. Stretching 50 kilometers in diameter and consisting of uniform ripples, the rings of the structure are shockingly similar to the description of the capital of Atlantis. Also, Greek philosopher Plato famously said that Atlantis was destroyed in a single day and night of misfortune and sank beneath the waves. Although scientists are still unable to figure out exactly what created the Richat structure, as there is no evidence of impact, scientific records show that the Earth underwent significant climate upheaval around 11500 years ago. At the same time, Atlantis is alleged to have disappeared. 17. The Bomvu Ridge Mine. Scientists were shocked when they discovered that Africans were the first people to engage in mining. A hematite mine dating back to 43,200 years ago was found in Swaziland at Bomvu Ridge in the Ngwenya mountain range, and about 300,000 artifacts were recovered. Scientists were also surprised when they noticed that the ancient mining tools found at the site were more sophisticated than those found in Stone Age European mines. 16. The Unidentified Queen of Egypt. In 2015, archaeologists discovered the grave of a woman buried between the Great Pyramids of the ancient Kingdom of Egypt. What fascinated them the most is that on her grave are inscriptions that call her both the king's wife and the king's mother. But nobody seems to know who she is. Historians are calling her Kentekawes III, assuming she was the daughter of Queen Kentekawes II. They also suggest that she may have been Pharaoh Neferefre's wife and Pharaoh Mekahur's mother, but they are not entirely sure. 15. The Ghost Town of Gedi. Off the coast of Kenya in East Africa is one very mysterious ancient ghost town that dates back to the 14th or 15th centuries. The long uninhabited town of Gedi continues to fascinate scientists because of how sophisticated the town's infrastructure is. This town was way ahead of its time. Current standing buildings in this town include the palace, numerous one-story private houses made from stones, and 3-pillar tombs. The palace even contains evidence of piped water controlled by taps. It also had bathrooms and indoor toilets. For a town built in the 13th century, this is incredible. Let's switch our focus to the ancestors. 14. Homo naledi. In 2013, 1,550 bones were discovered deep in the bottom of the Dinaledi chamber of the Rising Star Cave System, cradle of humankind, South Africa. These strange fossils belong to a now extinct species of humans, combining modern and archaic traits that have left scientists confused. They also had small brains that were quite similar in size to other early hominin species that lived between 4 million and 2 million years ago. How these remains got into the caves and how they survived alongside bigger brain species still remains a mystery. 13 dead trees in Deadvlei. Science tells us that when things die, they begin to decompose. But somewhere in Africa, a strange phenomenon exists. Located close to the Namib Naukluft Park in Namibia, a stretch of trees that are believed to have died 600, 700 years ago have mysteriously refused to decompose. Previously a forest, the skeletons of these long-dead trees still stand tall more than 6 centuries later, giving off that eerie, spooky aura. Today, Deadvlei is one of the weirdest places on Earth and a renowned tourist attraction, as well as a famous movie location. Next is an artifact whose design was 2,000 years ahead of its time. 12. The Bird of Saqqara. The Bird of Saqqara is an ancient and mysterious artifact that feels out of place, given that the technology it appears to portray didn't exist over 2,000 years ago when this bird was carved. Crafted from sycamore wood, the Saqqara bird is 5.52 inches long, has a wingspan of just 7 inches, and weighs only 40 grams. The bird, which is of Egyptian origin and is currently in Cairo, Egypt, strangely lacks the adornment and carvings that are peculiar to ancient Egyptian artifacts. It, however, features a beak and eyes, pointing to the representation of a hawk, a symbol of the god Horus. While it is still uncertain what the bird represents, the shape of its wings, its lack of legs, and its squared and upright tails make it resemble a modern-day aircraft. So did the Egyptians know about aerodynamics centuries again? I guess we will never know. 11. 200-legged alien creature. While we are still unsure if aliens exist, researchers from the University of Sunshine Coast in Australia have identified 5 new species of millipedes and a new genus in the jungles of Tanzania in Africa. According to USC Professor Andy Marshall, the heads of the newly discovered millipedes resemble characters from the Star Wars series. Also, each of these alien millipedes has about 200 legs and measures several centimeters in length, with the longest being 35 centimeters. Scientists are still baffled by the new creature and its impact on the ecosystem. 10. The oldest known wooden structure. Archaeologists in 2019 discovered the oldest known wooden structure dating back to over 500,000 years in Zambia. The structure, which is found along a riverbank upstream of Kalambo Falls near Zambia's border with Tanzania, is suspected to have been part of a wooden walkway to keep food and firewood dry or a base to build a dwelling. The fact that the wood has remained in place and intact for 500,000 years is extraordinary. Researchers were unsure which species of ancient humans made the wooden structure, but it is highly unlikely to have been our own. 9. Sky blue stone. If you thought that you knew all the types of stones and rocks in the world, then think again. In Sierra Leone, West Africa, geologists discovered a mysterious blue stone that dates back to 12,000 BC. To determine what the stone was, pieces of it were sent to laboratories in Rome, Germany, Tokyo, and Geneva for testing, but no one could determine what it was. It was, however, determined that the rock was unlike anything ever seen and that it was probably man-made. But judging that the stone's layers date back to 12,000 BC, it is even more difficult to understand its origins and how it got its color. Surprisingly, the stone is composed mostly of oxygen. Well, the stone is probably from an ancient civilization that has yet to be discovered. 8. Desert fairy circles. Well, We are still undecided if fairies exist or not, but in the Namibia desert of southern Africa, strange fairy circles that have baffled scientists for years lie between luscious grasses that span 1,100 miles. The circles are a series of barren rings that are between 2 and 15 meters in diameter. Grasses grow all around them, but not inside the rings. 7. Stone circles of Senegambia. Located around the Gambia north of Janjanbureh and in central Senegal, with a span of 200 miles and a radius of 62 miles, the Senegambian stone circles are the largest concentration of stone circles anywhere in the world. It is believed that there are at least 1,000 stone circles spread out around the area. The mystery is that no one knows when and how they were built, even though it is estimated that they are between 400 and 2,300 years old. Given the complexity of the structures, one wonders what kind of technology was used to construct them. Apart from the circles, the area is littered with stonework, graves, and pieces of metal. The stone circles are also divided into 4 main areas with approximately 29,000 stones, 2,000 smaller sites, and 17,000 monuments dotted around them. The architecture of the Great Pyramids of Giza has always been fascinating, but this next discovery makes it even more mysterious. 6. The hidden chamber of the Great Pyramid. 4,500 years ago, the Great Pyramid of Giza was built for Pharaoh Khufu, and since then, it has remained a mystery to scientists and scholars who have tried to understand what lies inside. The massive structure, which stands nearly 150 meters high and was built with more than 2.3 million blocks of stone, is one that has puzzled the rest of the world. But thanks to non-invasive technology, researchers have discovered a secret 30-foot corridor within the pyramid. Although they don't know the purpose of the secret chamber, they believe there may be others like it. Strangely, the Egyptians deliberately built the hidden chamber to be entirely out of access. There are no corridors or connecting pathways, meaning no one has seen the inside of the secret chamber yet, and no one knows the reason behind the room. 5. New widow spider. In the critically endangered sand forest of South Africa, scientists discovered a new spider species, the Finder button spider. The spider, which is closely related to the infamous North American black widow, the Australian redback, and the katipo from New Zealand, is the first new widow spider to be discovered in almost 3 decades, and is potentially the largest widow spider in the world. Not only is this potentially the largest widow spider in the world, but it also creates a unique purple-coloured egg sac and lives specifically in this critically endangered South African forest type called the sand forest, a forest unique to South Africa and southern Mozambique. It is an important habitat for many endemic plants and animals, including the endangered Suni antelope. 4. Fantasy coffins of Ghana. In Ghana, the dead are sent off in style. Coffin makers in the country have elevated the business to a form of art, constructing fantasy coffins. These coffins are mainly used by the Ga people, a southern Ghana tribe that holds strong religious beliefs concerning the afterlife. They believe that life continues in the next world after death, and the ancestors watch over and influence their living relatives. These fantasy coffins often take different shapes and commonly symbolize the social status and profession of the deceased. 3. Olduvai Gorge. The Olduvai Gorge is one of the most historic sites on the planet. Located within the Ngorongoro Conservation Area in northern Tanzania, this site contains deposits that date from about 2 million to 15,000 years ago. Also, the remains of more than 60 hominins, that is, ancient human ancestors, have been found here. Additionally, the Olduvai Gorge has provided archaeologists with the most continuous known record of human evolution in the past 2 million years. It has also produced the longest known archaeological record of the development of stone tools. It is believed that Homo habilis, probably the first early human species, occupied Olduvai Gorge approximately 2 million years ago. 2. High Rock Impalas. In Lesotho, southern Africa, a strange phenomenon has left scientists confused: the presence of high rock impalas. These rare impalas exhibit the unusual behavior of climbing steep cliffs and rocks that defy the natural abilities of their species. Although impalas are known for their agility and ability to jump, the phenomenon of impalas scaling sheer rock faces is a new sight. Last one is the Blue Hole. Located in southeast Sinai, a few kilometers north of Dahab, Egypt, on the coast of the Red Sea, the Blue Hole is one of the most popular diving locations in the world. The hole and its surrounding area have an abundance of coral and reef fish. The Blue Hole is a popular spot for free diving because of the depth directly accessible from shore and the lack of current. Interestingly, the dive site is reputed to have the most diver fatalities in the world, with estimates of between 130 and 200 fatalities in recent years. The reason for this high fatality still remains a mystery that has left scientists perplexed even today. That's where we draw the curtains for today. We do hope you enjoyed this video. Kindly like and subscribe to our page for more.